story is titled Sweet 16. I was 15 and a half, going on Lost, when I fell in with a couple of wild girls. Well, you know the kind. They know everything about everybody, right? Like they knew that there were these guys in their 20s that lived in our neighborhood. They've been practicing their band in their parents' garage, and they were known as king of the garage bands in the Pasadena area, and their name was Van Halen. Yeah. So the Wildings, that's what I called them, the Wildings started coming over after school every day, planting pot seeds in my backyard, way back by the horses. So we were going to see the horses almost every day. And even my mom was like, wow, why the sudden interest in horses? Understand, these were not horsies, like in My Little Pony, like, oh, I love my pony because it's soft, and I'm having a latent sexual relationship with it because I'm scared shitless of the boys at school. No. These were thoroughbred race horses, okay? In my backyard, like trample you down for a laugh, kill you on a school day if they felt like it. But even with the danger, I was okay with it because it sort of felt like I was becoming popular. So one day, the Wildings came over, but something was different. Something was up. Oh yeah, they were all smiley. Yeah, and they handed me a card, a very special 16th birthday party, it said. What? Van Halen will be playing. Where? In your backyard. And then in tiny lettering, all you have to do is ask your dad. Okay, look, I may have been in fright or flight mode on account of my rageaholic dad deciding to losing his job and then deciding to buy racehorses. But I wasn't an idiot. I knew what he was doing. I knew what they were doing. They were pimping out my birthday, in my big backyard in order to get in with the band. But I was okay with it because it sort of felt like friendship. So I got the nerve to ask my dad. He was in a trance-like state, smoking a cigar, watching the horse races on our 12-inch black and white TV, right? And we didn't speak since the incident with my algebra homework. Something about the power of zero, I don't know. Anyway, stunned by the unusual interruption, he kind of jerked into consciousness, and his eyes lit up like the on-light of an old, rusted-out machine. How many friends do you have? How many people can we fit on our property? And then his eyes glazed over in delight as he calculated how much profit he could make on my birthday if he charged $2 a head. We'll make a killing, honey. Tell Von Hagen to call me right away. But I was okay with it because it sort of felt like attention. So my dad stocked up on extension cords and hired bouncers. Yeah. And I designed and sewed my birthday dress, which was a rust Kiana halter dress attached to a silver choker. And the Wildings, they gave me a white feather pendant to attach to the choker. I was wrong about them. They were not out to get me. They'd chosen me. The cool chick who could, handle thoroughbred racehorses, clean their stalls in the morning, and still managed to smell pretty good. So finally, the big day came, and I had two bad habits. One was biting my nails to the quick, and the other was scratching my head in one spot until it bled. But in a matter of hours, I was going to stop all that because I was becoming a somebody. So I walked out onto the patio in my new dress. And the Wildings were sitting in David Roth's lap. And my dad was barbecuing chicken and cracking jokes with Eddie Van Halen. They didn't even notice me. But I thought, I know. I'll sashay out onto the big backyard, and I'll stand there in a contemplative state, and then they'll notice me. But my stilettos plunged into the grass, making me walk like a robot. But I didn't let it get to me. Okay, I was used to things going wrong. I mean, I had even come up with my own self-buffering tool, my own swirling rainbow ball to put up with my dad's disappointments. What kind of disappointments, you ask? Well, on a regular basis, when we were just sitting down to dinner, ready to take our first bite of food, he would knock the whole table over. Or he would drive us to Newport Beach, couldn't find a place to park, so then he'd turn around and drive all the way home. And I'd be in the back seat on the floorboards with that doll that you push a button on her stomach and her hair goes from long to short, long to short. Anyway, before I knew it, there were over 500 people in my backyard. But I didn't really know any of them. There was a cheerleader barfing into the sticker bush that my brother used to hang dead lizards after the cats got to them. And we had this, we had an unspoken pledge never to speak of the lizard killing field. And it was this cute made-up torture chamber where he quietly retaliated against my dad's constant bullying. And now was it covered in cheerleader barf. Suddenly, the band, they started singing happy birthday to me. Here I am, over here. But somebody fell on me, and my dress ripped off the choker thing, and then I made my way through the crowd, and I climbed up onto the stage at the very moment that the song ended. I needed to disappear. So the Wildings had designated one of the empty horse stalls as the stoner area, so I robot walked out there, and I saw my sister. Oh, finally, a familiar face. I went to hug her, and she goes, "Mom told me to follow you around and smell you and see if you're smoking pot. I smell you. I'm telling." And yeah. When I got back to the party, the cops had come. And because the music was too loud. And Van Halen was packing up their stuff, and oh my God, my dad was pissed. Because there were still tons of teenagers lined up in our driveway ready to pay their $2, right? We were not rich, okay? We owned a laundromat. We had to roll coins to pay our bills. So my dad was like, oh no, and he walked up to the police and said, "I'm gonna need proof that the music is too loud." So, get this, the cops got back in their cars, and Van Halen got back up on stage and kept playing. My dad had foiled the cops and Van Halen. His brain was firing on all its angry synapses. See, what they didn't know was that my dad was a physicist, and he was working on the Apollo rockets until 4 years ago when he got laid off. They were dealing with a frickin' rocket scientist. So anyway, yeah, a couple hours later, they bring back the decibel meter, and my dad says, I'm gonna need a warrant for you to come onto my property. So the cops came back like a couple hours later and shut the party down, but not until my dad made his killing. Yeah. My sister told my mom that I was growing pot trees in the backyard, and my mom tore them all out, and the Wildings never came over again. It's because one was with David Roth, and the other was with Michael Anthony, and they got what they wanted. But my self-buffering thingy was really kicking in, and it made me believe that I was gonna become a famous actress, and I was gonna meet my soulmate and have a happy life. Yeah. People think that if you have an abusive parent, you are weak and broken, because you believe the narrative that's hammered into you every day, that you're unlucky, stupid, and basically doomed. But it isn't true. And I know some of you know this. For some of us, it creates this internal muscle of superhuman strength. And we believe we can do anything, right? So a couple years later, I found myself at a cattle call for David Ross' California Girls. And I'm absolutely certain that he's going to take one look at me and he's going to recognize me from the party, right? He's going to hire me. Yeah, no, he took one look at me and he eliminated me. I was one of the first to go. The bouncers pointed to the door, and I'm like, what? This is not, this is my rainbow ball, And I swear to God, the room started spinning. And I felt like Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz, when the tornado hit, only my ruby red slippers were just cheap, plastic, shitty knockoffs. And I saw like uprooted pot trees and like barbecue chicken, and I heard my dad's greedy grin, "We'll make a killing, honey. We'll make a killing, honey." And I was like, I was scared to death, but I channeled my dad. And I walked up on Roth. You played at my 16th birthday party, and you took one of my dad's extension cords, and he wants it back. This is true. Get her out of here, he said. The bouncers grabbed me, but I wouldn't shut up. He wants it back. It was a really good one. Oh God, my dad died about 5 years ago. And he was pissed that he couldn't beat his cancer. Yeah, he had out his clipboard every day, and he was like scribbling out algorithms, really trying to find a cure. But the cancer went to his brain, and he was absolutely certain that I was out to get him. So he locked himself into the bathroom. So I got a butter knife, and I opened the door, and I could tell that it was near the end. And I got him back in bed, and I was bawling, and my tears fell onto his forearm, and he looked at me like he has never looked at me before. And in that moment, I realized my dad's dad was also a rager. My dad had his own self-buffering tool, his own, rainbow ball, his own delusions of grandeur. And he went on to be a rocket scientist. So I said, "Dad, were the best role model a lost girl could ever have. Thank you.